Hello, everybody. It's Friday and it's Good Friday. So many of you are full house, family at home, nobody at work because it's supposed to be a holiday. But we are in time, and in time, anything can happen. Number one, Stuart and Ilse, if this shirt looks familiar, I try to color myself so that I can know what session it is. But this shirt was a gift from Stuart and Ilse Williams. And Richard, I'm looking forward to our conversation on Monday that we're going to have the individual session that we've got booked. So I love my blue shirt. And for those of you who are sharp, if you look over my shoulder, my left shoulder, you will see this beautiful apple. Yeah, it's not finished, don't worry. It's after the first trial. It was my first part of it. But my daughter is busy teaching us how to paint. And I'm painting an apple, and I just thought that I want to share with you my beginning because I'm very excited about this. For those of you who are new, I know there's always new people, possibly in every session, because we get a lot of emails, and I thank you for that. Before I continue, I want to thank all of you for the response after yesterday, my question. Don't think your email didn't make a difference. I tried to reply on everyone personally to tell you I really value your feedback. And thank you for the immense response. We're going to continue with the sessions next week. And we've got no idea where it's going to go from there. But next week is definitely continuing. So, woo-ha, I'm really excited about that. For those of you who are new, part of this mental toughness forum is to teach you to get out of the spectator stance where we sit and we listen to somebody else. That's what you used to do. Probably sitting in the Afrikaans forum. But he said this to me. He said, Jannie, these sessions is something where I got this message. Did God give you something you thought you didn't need? And he said, this was exactly what happened to me and my family. God gave us something we didn't think we need. But for the past 3 weeks, they've been sitting in. And the response and what he wrote is absolutely awesome. And I want to thank, if they're sitting in the session, I just want to thank you, Roy. It was incredible to read your mail. So how do you get out of the arena, out of the spectator stands in the arena? If you're in the arena, I promise you don't want to get out, especially if you're on a winning team, especially if you're part of a team that's winning. Most people don't want to be in the arena of life because they're part of a losing team. And the first team that you're part of in your life is your family. And if your family is not a winning team, if there's not synergy in your family, you're definitely not winning, because then it's an individual fight for identity. And if you fight for identity, you can never reach your ceiling because somebody else will stop you just before you reach your ceiling. And that's how many families unfortunately live. But when there's synergy, synergy means we provoke something within each other that we push each other through the ceiling of life. And when you're in that arena, going through the ceiling, promise you don't want to quit. This is how I feel. I just said to my wife, isn't it amazing? These couple of minutes before the session starts, my adrenaline level goes up because I know I have the privilege of speaking into people's minds, into their hearts, into their lives, and I don't take this lightly. This is adrenaline taste. And my wish for you is that you will taste this taste, because this is life. Yes, I know, sitting there on a couch, maybe lying on your 10th vertebra, and knowing that nobody really see you doesn't taste like adrenaline. But that's my wish for you. It's available to us all, but it's chosen by a few because most people look for comfort. My question is, how many memories do you have of comfort? Yes, you may say a lot. And I will tell you, if I look at my memories, not one of them was the focus or the result of a comfortable moment. All my greatest memories was the result of something strange, uncomfortable. And I didn't think I'm going to share it before I share this with you, because this morning a miracle happened in our home, and I want to share it with you. But somebody sent me this yesterday, because yesterday's theme was never stop pumping. Because the moment you think it's not going to work, it's probably that moment you just need to pump twice more or 3 times more, and the water will come through, and your fountain of energy and life will start flowing, and then the effort will become less. Many of you would know the name Lionel Messi. Now, Lionel Messi is a world famous football player. I'm involved in football, and I want to say this, Wayne Sandilands, you and your family are listening in. Wayne Sandilands, a number of players of the Orlando Pirates team are part of this forum, and I have the privilege of working with this team now for the past 2 years. And Wayne, when you sent your email this morning to say, Umyani, please continue with these sessions, because me and my family, we need this. Although I send messages to you as a team twice a week, it was the key that lighted up today's session, because me and my wife, we were sitting there and we were discussing it this morning, early in the grey of the morning, before the yellow and the orange started, because we did that, yes, early this morning. We had the agreement in spirit that what I shared with the team yesterday is going to be confirmed today. So when you and your family, you're going to have double the portion today, and it's going to be so much more meaningful for you. I want to get back to my story. Lionel Messi is a world famous football player. He earns far more than 40 million, let's call it rand, per month. Now, most of us in a lifetime doesn't even earn half that money. In a lifetime. He earns 40 million rands per month minimum because of his value. You see, his fountain is running. And we look at a player like that and we think, wow, you're so lucky. You just had a shallow fountain. You just didn't have to pump. It just came out. And this is one of Lionel Messi's messengers that he said. And this, I wrote it down here. I typed it. Here it is. It took me 17 years and 114 days to become an overnight success. I hope you can see it. It took me 17 years and 14 days, 114 days to become an overnight success. Because that's what the world believes. You're an overnight success. You're just so lucky. You just had it in you. He knew what he put in. Not one of us know how much he pumped to get to be that person who earned that much money. The miracle I want to share with you is we had a family challenge, and the family challenge was we have to draw a picture of one of our favorite memories in our lives up till now. And it was me and my wife and my daughter. Now my wife said, honey, it's going to blur. The people are not going to see it. I said to her, if it blurs, it's fine. I just want you to see something. We didn't have a clue what we're going to draw. This morning, my daughter started first. I trust you saw it. If you didn't see it, you see the vague outline of the picture. As she took it out, I sat there and I said to her, Danielle, is that what I am seeing? Because this was my picture. Now, for those of you who've got no idea what we drew, because it's not a Picasso, it's just a pen and pencil. It's almost a replica of each other. And it was one night we spent in the Kalahari Desert at the Red Dune Desert Resort or place. It's a small place where they have this small stand in the middle of the veld, and they've got this platform, and underneath the platform, there's a tent where you're supposed to sleep. But we went upstairs on the platform and we covered ourselves with a lot of blankets because it was icy cold. And we lied there on that platform the whole night watching the stars. And we slept there. Now that was, and I hope you enjoy it as much as I do. We've got no discussion. We've got no idea. But that's the memory. Now my question to you is, does that have any comfort in it? Or was it so freezingly cold? And we woke up that the morning, but we had many stuff over us. But the dew was on us and it was freezing. But it was a memory forever. We had so much laughter this morning sharing that. It was amazing. And I wanted to share it with you because to me, it's profound. It means it's deep. My wife said I have to read you my poem because this poem is for this day. And I'm going to read this poem to you because I want you to hear. We do this every morning. And I'm busy writing in this book. We started with the poems as we started this forum 4 weeks ago because this was part of our challenge. And it became so nice that we don't want to stop this. So this was my poem. If one was lost and just wandered around, the joy is great when that person is found. We are all part of the body of Christ. We are choice target and highly priced. Let's take note. We are all in this boat. There's a storm at sea in a serious degree. Who will get out and walk on the sea? Who will speak and command it to be? Yes, the story was told. It is the call for the bold. To wake up and stand up. To drink from the cup and eat of the bread. To live is in his power. And to rule in this hour. Thank you for that. And I hear it. And the cheers. Thank you for the cheers. I think it was one of my best poems that I've written up till today. I thoroughly enjoyed it. Why I'm doing this is to show you that I'm not telling you to do stuff. I'm sharing with you stuff that we do, and I'm inviting you to be part of what's happening in our home and in many other homes, because the emails that I got through last night and through this morning was leaving me with tears in my eyes to understand that there's families uniting, families doing one simple thing. They form a routine. And the routine that many of people told me is, Yanni, we're waiting for that half an hour a day, sitting with you, chatting with you, because life has robbed us from time. So it's not about me. I'm just a tool in this. But God placed this on me. He anointed me. And wow, I don't know how I started 4 weeks ago because I had no idea how to. I didn't know the technology, but it did it on Zoom. But you will see if you jump and you take the leap, you will learn to fly because sometimes you don't have an option. And that's my challenge to you. And I'm going to share with you a great challenge today. Corinne, she's in the Afrikaans Forum, I know that, but I want to mention that Corinne, she sent me a video of push-ups. And she said to me, Yanni, I'm doing my push-ups excellently. And she sent me a video of 3. And then I sent a video where I did push-ups. And I did them because she's working with kids as well. And she wants them to have this lesson well learned. And I did it for the lesson to be learned. And she sent it back. And then she sent a video of all the things she's busy doing because of this conversation that we have every day. And I stood there and I just applauded her and said, Corinne, you've got no idea how amazing this is. My wife said this just now before we came in here. She said, after watching Corinne's video, she said, Yanni, it's amazing. This is available to everybody. What we started doing 24 years ago, me and my wife, was available to more than 4,000 people attending that seminar. The question is, how many of those people attending that seminar 24 years ago are still doing, not have done it, are still pumping. I said to you yesterday, because somebody sent me the question. So, Yanni, when is mental training stop? When does it stop? My question is, when do you stop eating? Yes, when you're too fat. And sometimes we eat so much that we become fat, but you can never stop eating because then you die. You just have to eat enough for every day and then train and enjoy the benefits of everything. Life is not one thing only. Life is a factor of things being put together, and your puzzle is being built every day, and the picture becomes more and more complete. And the more complete your picture becomes, the more excited you become, because God has got a picture for every one of us. Not the same picture, a different picture for every one of us. You just have to complete your puzzle of your life. So there's no stopping in this. Why do you think I continue with my work? Because every day of my life, I have to speak the challenge I'm going to give you today. I have to speak in a place where few people go. So I'm going to ask you at this moment to close your eyes. You can peep if you want to. I've got no idea. But close your eyes. I will tell you when to open them, because I just want to bring something in front of the camera, but I want to bring it and then you open your eyes. So please close your eyes. Thank you. Open your eyes. What do you see? Tell me what you see. Tell each other what you see. Speak. Is that a picture? What do you see? Okay, close your eyes again. Open them. What do you see? A tissue box, Yanni. Did you notice the tissue box in the first picture? The answer is no, you didn't notice the tissue box. Why not? Because you could only see one dimension. You could only see one dimension. Now I'm showing you two, and as I turn the box, you see 3 dimensions. 3-dimensional vision. Now I'm going to tell you a story. You've got to understand, whatever you see with your eyes, your brain explains. I'm going to repeat something that I said but it was not in this forum. In a book of Louis L'Amour, he's a Western writer. He writes the following: what is it we see? Is it not what we expect to see or hope to see? When we see, is what we see reality or imagination? And then he says, be wary of evidence given by others, because in all evidence there is some form of interpretation. Your eyes see and your mind explain what your eyes see, but your mind can only explain what is gained through knowledge or experience. So when you see, it doesn't mean that you know. When you saw this, except if you were in my office and being here for a session sometime, you will notice this box, because this is a tissue box, because in my office we often cry. Because crying is so good. But if you didn't know this was a tissue box, you may have seen anything what your brain could explain, but you didn't know the truth. So what if there's something more behind this that we don't see? And now I come to what I sent to the Pirates team yesterday. I said to them, there's a story, and I want to tell you the story because the kids are going to love this. In the Vietnam War, it was told that there was a story of the prisoners of war, those guys that got shot and their legs were shot off, and they were seriously injured, and they were prisoners, but they were put into this hospital. And this hospital had a huge hall, and only one window in that hall. So all the beds of the prisoners were placed against the walls, and only one prisoner, one of the guys, had the privilege of sitting next to a window. And what happened in that hall is every day The prisoner next to the window would wheel himself up, look out of the window, and then all the other prisoners, because they're unable to move, they chained to their beds, ask them, tell us what you see. Tell us what you see. And he would start looking like this and he would say, there's two lovers walking and they're holding hands and they're in love. They are beautiful. There's a fountain. The fountain is shooting this beautiful water in different streams. There's obviously music playing because that fountain is going in a rhythm. There's kids playing in the park. And there's a game going on between some footballers. Look at them play. And he would describe to them the scene of life. And they would lie, and many of them would lie back, and they would hear him speak, and they would put themselves there, and they would live in his vision. And very close to him, the other guy was lying, and he was so jealous of this guy being able to watch out of this window, and he couldn't. So one night, this guy next to the window, his breathing became shallow, and eventually this guy next to him, his mate, heard that he was in trouble. But he kept his mouth. He didn't call for the nurse. Because in his mind he thought, if this guy dies, they will move me to the window tomorrow. And eventually this guy's heart stopped and the machine went off, beep. And this other guy just made up as if he's asleep, and his friend died. So the next morning they wheeled him out and he asked him, moved him to the window because he asked him. And when they left the room, he couldn't wait to wheel himself up. And as he wheeled himself up, he looked out of this window with anticipation. And all he could see was a wall about half a meter from this wall and bars. There was nothing outside. The next building's wall was there. It was a dead end. And he was so disappointed. And everybody else said, tell us what you see. Tell us what's happening in the park. Tell us. And he had to reveal to them, there's only bars. Moral of the story. That guy that was next to the window had the ability to see the fourth dimension. We see 3 dimensions. That's reality. Reality is 3 dimensions. And I'm getting goosebumps while I'm sitting here. 4th dimension lies in beyond reality. Beyond it. What is beyond it? What is? And you can only look beyond reality if you have one of 2 things. You either have fear or you have faith. Remember this. When you have fear as part of your being, you will go to the 4th dimension and your life will become the dead end that fear will cause, because fear is a creative power that will kill you. Promise that. Not quickly, slowly. What's the origin of cancer? Ask Dr. Caroline Leaf in her book, Switch on Your Brain. She writes about this. She says, the biggest source of illness in the human body is worry and fear. Because worry and fear have a creative power that takes you to the 4th dimension. That means you see beyond reality. And what you're going into will kill you. The other side, the other one you can choose. And remember, this is a choice. This is not forced on anyone. The other one is faith. And for those of you who've got the word and know the Bible, faith's definition is, in Hebrews 11 verse 1, it's written, faith is to be sure of what you hope for. And listen to this, the title deed of the things you cannot see physically yet. That means certificate of ownership of what I cannot see yet. What have you practiced through your life? What have you practiced? Are you a three-dimensional person, just living in reality, too afraid, too gutless? I'm sorry that too gutless to go in the fourth dimension. Although you're taken into the fourth dimension often by the world, you're being led like a slave. Please come and watch the fourth dimension with us. We're going into fear, and you're led there, and you're a victim of life. And many of us live like victims of life. Somebody else told me my job is going to be redundant. Somebody else told me, and I catch that fear, and it robbed me from any energy or any vision for the future. Or do you have the guts to live by faith? Because you will be challenged. People will laugh at you. People will ridicule you. Yes, it is. I tell you, there's many dads that listening right now, you're so afraid that your children will think you're ridiculous when you imagine possibilities. Because when you imagine possibilities, you're going to smile. You're going to laugh because it's a joke. Nobody can see it. What if you can learn to laugh at life and reality because your vision has been strengthened by the fourth dimension of faith, not fear? You know what? The fourth dimension is real. The fourth dimension is where I strive to live every day of my life. And I speak what I cannot see yet. I claim it for me. And the more we stand in synergy, the more they break the ceiling of reality. You see, the ceiling of life is really a reality. That's talent. Beyond reality, beyond your ceiling, lies the adventure of life. And that's called the fourth dimension. And my wish for you is not to go into the fourth dimension of fear, but to live in the fourth dimension of faith, because your life will never be the same. My time is up. I want to challenge you. On this weekend, why don't you go on an imagination trip? Just have a discussion. And every one of you have to come up with the most lucrative, most beautiful, most thrilling, most laughable, no, most ridiculous imagination. And take your family on a trip and see what happens in you. Because if you can do it once, you can do it twice. And the more we do it, the less reality will be able to hold us in three dimensions and live a very average spectator life. It was great chatting to you. Really looking forward to what's coming on Monday. But I have a super weekend, and thank you very much for all the emails that you sent through. I'll chat to you on Monday. Cheers.